No contact or tough it out and see. Just looking to gain some perspective and insight to make myself feel better. I've, 20M, struggled with emotional dependency for a while and a possible avoidant attachment style which makes approaching relationships/breakups hard. I'm sure there's several underlying issues here that I could seek advice for, but there's advice I want for one particular situation. This starts several years ago when I started dating a girl, 20F. This was my first ever relationship and it lasted approximately 1 year. I probably wasn't the best boyfriend in terms of engagement, etc., and I think I was in a low point mentally because I got bored of it and ended things. We broke up. Things were okay for me, but we started seeing each other again briefly before it stopped and she started dating someone else. By this point, I had regretted my decision and tried to fix things to no avail. This relationship lasted just under a year. Throughout that relationship, we had no communication except a few run-ins 2 to 3 months after our breakup. Once this relationship ended, she started liking things on my socials, so I reached out and we resumed communication. Part of me, once we started talking again, was like, actually, nah, I don't want this, that avoidant attachment. We met up on 2 occasions and it felt like we'd picked up where we left off. However, she then said she wasn't ready for anything similar to a relationship and slowly withdraw, culminating in her blocking me on all socials one day with no real explanation. She then got another boyfriend several months later. Between our original relationship and this second phase of talking, I had 0 physical relationships with any other women. Her next relationship lasted again just under a year. Throughout this period, I had 2 semi-serious, not quite relationships, but almost. The first, she ended things, and it left me in another spiral. This identifies another issue, emotional dependency. My daily function/happiness is dependent on my social relationship with a particular woman. I recognize that this is extremely debilitating and unhealthy, however, something I am unable to fix as of present. During the start of this first relationship, I questioned if I actually really liked this girl. However, once she ended things, I tried to continue contact, etc., reinforcing issue 1, having something and not wanting it, but not having it and wanting it. Now, we are in the present. This is the part 1 I'm seeking the most advice for. We had several in-person run-ins where we spoke for a decent amount, catching up in the later half of last year. Her relationship ended, and I reached out and we began talking again. Things were smooth and we were doing couple things. Throughout this time, she was pretty clearly she wasn't able to commit to a relationship, etc., and I was fine with that because to me we were still talking very frequently and seeing each other often. However, over the last month, she's begun to distance herself considerably. We stopped organizing things to do, and when I try, it's brushed off. She has said she wants me in her life and cares about me, but our conversations are no longer deep and meaningful. We aren't open about how we're feeling anymore, and I feel like I'm losing her, despite her saying otherwise. It's now at the point where I'm on delivered for days at a time, but when she replies, it is generally engaging and not dry, but still feels like it's missing something. She has honestly gone through a lot over the last couple of years and wants to work on herself, very understandably. I'm at a point where I feel like I need to remove her and go no contact again because I'm catastrophising things in my mind and thinking, she doesn't care, we aren't friends, etc. However, some people I have spoken to have said she probably just got scared of being too close to a relationship and is distancing herself. This advice usually calms me, but I'm not sure if I'm just deluding myself and trying to make myself think that it'll work in future. She has told me she cares about me and wants me in her life, but her actions somewhat suggest otherwise. I'd like some opinions. I understand friendships require moments of distance and people have priorities, but it is difficult going from having such frequent contact to nothing, and it's not that hard to reply at least once per day. Obviously, I have issues with letting go and moving on, but this girl means a lot to me, and I'd be okay with being friends. But when we started talking again, I told her I reached out because I felt we have a level of familiarity and, you get me, when we talk, which we don't seem to have anymore. Should I just go no contact again and stop it running loops in my head? Or should I trust in what she has told me, give it time and space and see how things go? She's told me she wants to see me before I leave for a trip, but I'm not entirely confident that it will actually eventuate. TLDR reconnected with an ex for the second time. Things were going well for a month before she started distancing herself. She says she wants me in her life, but our talking is much less frequent, and it's making me feel like I'm giving unrequited love.